Comparativos. En este video vas a aprender las frases comparativas para comparar dos personas, o dos grupos, o dos cosas, o dos actividades. También vas a practicar usando las frases. Bueno, empezamos. First, connect with English. Comparatives are expressions used to compare two people, groups, or things with each other. In English, comparative adjectives are formed by adding er to the end of a word, or by using more, less, or as in the sentence. For example, Rodrigo is taller than his sister. We are comparing two people, Rodrigo and his sister, and the point of comparison is how tall they are. Rodrigo is taller. In order to make that comparison, we simply added an er to the end of the word tall. In Spanish, instead of adding endings onto the end of a particular word like we do in English, we use several phrases to make comparisons. Use these following phrases with an adjective to compare two things. The adjectives will always agree with the first noun in the sentence. Las frases son más que, more than. Mi abuela es más artística que mi padre. My grandmother is more artistic than my father. Las personas que comparamos son mi abuela y mi padre. Y el punto de comparación es sus habilidades como artista. Mi abuela es más artística que mi padre. La segunda frase, menos que, less than. La clase de ciencias es menos divertida que la clase de inglés. En esta frase comparamos la clase de ciencias y la clase de inglés. Y el punto de comparación es cómo divertido las clases son. Entonces, la clase de ciencias es menos divertida. Science class is less fun than English class. Y la tercera frase, tan como. As. Esta frase es para comparación entre dos cosas que son más o menos iguales. Por ejemplo, tus hermanas son tan serias como la maestra. En esta frase comparamos las hermanas y la maestra. Y el punto de comparación es como el nivel de seriedad. Entonces, your sisters are as serious as the teacher. They're about the same. Nota, en estos tres ejemplos, el adjetivo empareja con el sustantivo en género y en número. Artística y abuela son también femeninas y también son singulares. Divertida es femenina y singular. La clase es femenina y singular. Y por fin, serias, el adjetivo es femenina y plural. Y el sustantivo, hermanas, es un sustantivo femenino y plural también. ¿Okay? El adjetivo nunca se empareja con el segundo sustantivo. The adjective that you use as your comparison never matches the second the second noun in the sentence. It always matches with the first noun in the sentence. When a comparison does not involve an adjective, use these phrases. They're very similar to the phrases from the previous slide. You just take the adjective out. Más que means more than. Me gusta ir a la biblioteca más que al gimnasio. I like to go to the library more than the gym. Menos que means less than. Me gustan las hamburguesas menos que los tacos. I like hamburgers less than tacos. Y la tercera, tanto como, as much as. ¿Te gusta hablar tanto como escuchar? Do you like to talk as much as to listen? Note that in each of these sentences you're still comparing two things, the library and the gym. you're not comparing with an adjective, so you just use más que. In this one, we're comparing hamburgers with tacos. You're not using any adjectives, so just use menos que. And in this last one, we're comparing talking with listening. They like to do that they're asking if you like to do that as one as much as the other, so just use tanto como. There's no adjective involved. Sometimes when you make a comparison, you want to compare with a number. When you want to do that, instead of using que in your sentence, use a word for more than or a word for less than, and de instead of the que. Por ejemplo, tengo más de 20 primos. I have more than 20 cousins. The comparison here is lost my train of thought. The comparison here is that you have more than a certain number of cousins, so since you're using a number, use más de instead of más que. Hay menos de 10 sillas en la clase. There are less than 10 chairs in the class. Again, you're making a comparison to say how much less, how fewer there are, so you have menos with de because the following word is a number, 10. Y por fin, there are a few irregular comparative words, and they will always agree in number with the first noun in your sentence when you're making your comparison. These words are kind of like in English when you want to say something is more good, you don't say gooder, you say better. Or if you want to say something is more bad, you say worse, not badder. Okay? So these words kind of fit that kind of paradigm. They're words you just kind of have to memorize and get stuck in your head. They are mayor for older, menor for younger, mejor for better, and peor for worse. En estas frases escuchamos, mis tíos son mayores que mi tía. My uncles are older than my aunt. Note that mayores is plural and masculine, just like the subject, mis tíos. That is also a plural and masculine noun. Mi gato es menor que mi perro. My cat is younger than my dog. Again, the adjective matches the subject in gender and number. Menor is singular. In this case, it could be feminine or masculine, but the noun is masculine. Okay, so here are lots of examples of ways that you can use comparatives to say more than, or less than, or just as much as, and how you can use comparisons with numbers, and lastly some words that are kind of special in the way that you use them in the sentence. These last words here contain the idea of más or menos right within the words, so all you have to do is use that word with the que afterwards to make the comparison. Bueno, ahora puedes hacer una comparación y puedes practicar con las preguntas en este video y también con el ejercicio que tenemos esta semana. Bueno, chao.